My name's Merian Ellis, and we're going to be looking at student learning, motivation and engagement, and the classroom environment. Firstly, to student learning and some of the paradigms of learning. One of them is called behaviourism. This was John Locke's theory that the mind is a blank tablet and that environment and experience literally form the mind. Students were seen as empty vessels in which the teacher or lecturer transmits information. And this paradigm involves the ideas from Pavlov, looking at classical operant conditioning where all behaviour is caused by external stimuli. And some of the examples of how it would have been used in the classroom, and still is in some places, is in rote learning. In the classroom, the behaviourist classroom, the traditional arrangement of desks with the teacher up the front, possibly a blackboard and students sitting in rows would be what you'd expect to see. Conversations would probably be discouraged and there'd be little opportunity for group work. It's also a simple way to maintain control of the class because you can have full eye contact with all students at all times. And if it's not working, you can do what they do in Uzbekistan, as you can see in this picture. The next paradigm we're going to look at is cognitivism, the idea that mental functions can be understood. This paradigm replaced behaviourism in the 1960s as the dominant learning paradigm, and it recognises that thinking is involved and learning's not just a reaction, as it was believed to be in behaviourism. People are rational beings whose actions are a consequence of thinking. And in the classroom, it would look something like teachers showing children how to do an activity and then getting the students to do it themselves. And also encouraging them to go outside and do some exploratory activities, problem solving, and anything that involved with experimentation and learning. Constructivism is a cognitive theory, and it was based on the ideas of people such as John Dewey, Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky, with the idea that learning is an active, constructive process, that children seek knowledge and they build on existing knowledge, and they're not a blank slate, and they bring past experiences and cultural factors to a situation. Instead of just absorbing knowledge, they gain knowledge through experiential learning. Therefore, the sort of things you might see in the classroom would be class discussions, group presentations and project work, but play is also very important, focused on things such as experiential learning, such as using water, sand, clay, housekeeping furniture for practising adult activities, dolls, dress-up clothes and musical instruments. And this physical activity gives the children the opportunity to touch and explore and feel and test, to experiment, talk and think. The teacher provides a scaffolding role. They assist the students to reach new levels of learning. Humanism is the next one. This is a paradigm that was put forward by Maslow and Rogers, and it looks at learning as a personal act to fulfil one's potential. The emphasis is on the freedom, dignity and potential of humans, and it's a student-centred learning paradigm. The teachers facilitate with the goal of developing self-actualised people, and they do that by providing cooperative, supportive environment. This paradigm looks closely at Maslow's hierarchy of needs and what children need to be able to learn. If we think about a child starting school, they, on the first day, might be feeling a little bit like this fellow who's pretty anxious, or they'll like this fellow here who just doesn't know what to do and just wants to close his eyes. Or if they haven't had breakfast that morning, which is a common thing these days, they might be feeling hungry. Until these sorts of needs are met, Maslow indicated that students can't learn. Therefore, as a teacher, and this also comes into motivation and engagement, we need to provide them with an environment where they feel accepted and part of the group so that they can feel safe to experiment and learn. They need recognition and approval, and they need to make some friends. So through modelling and supporting and providing this friendly environment as teachers, we facilitate the learning. Creating that sort of classroom or also involves the physical aspects of the classroom, which are the surrounds, the colour, the space, where the tables are set up, how they're set up, what's on the wall, what's there to stimulate them. Also very important when you think about it, that classroom is going to have a big influence on their behaviour and attitude and their expectations and perhaps their learning for the rest of their life. If it's a room that they want to come to every day, if it's got lovely plants and flowers, if it's a clean, warm, comfortable space, they're more likely to want to come and learn. The desks, the arrangements need to be to provide individual opportunities for learning as well as group learning and classroom learning. Also important to have a text-rich environment to support literacy with posters and easy to get to books, places where the students can read alone or read comfortably. Unfortunately, we don't always have these opportunities around what sort of room we can have, but as you can see in the next few photos, these people from around the world are doing their best to provide a good learning environment for students.